Alright people, so this is what we did in the last video. I want to remind you that you need to make sure that you're having an even number of lines going across. Very important, has to be an even number because it's a AB pattern, so for it to actually keep repeating continuously in a circle, there needs to be an even number. So I told you in the last video that I was going to show you a big version of what I was doing in each one of these things. I'm actually going to flip it over on the back. I don't want you to do this, but I'm just going to show you really quickly what it's looking like. So if I had this, that was a nice big one. In each one of these things, I outlined it, and I put like a little hook on the edge. And then I go from dark, I color the whole thing all the way up, get a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, almost to white, and then I'm turning around and I'm doing the exact same thing on the other side. So I outline it, do a little tick mark, black, or as dark as my ebony pencil can get, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter, until you're almost at white. And then I actually like to connect them between, so it makes it look a little bit more realistic. One thing I do not want to see you doing, so if this is your parenthesis, and so you have all of these going like this, I do not want to see you coming down here in a big long streak, make it lighter, and make it a little, no. This is not what you're doing. Not what you're doing. You notice in these, I skip every other one. See how I skipped it? Yeah, if you're coloring in the entire thing and just going straight up, that's not doing what I'm telling you to do. You need to imagine that each one of these individual parentheses is a different thing. If you do anything different than that, it's going to look like you rushed through because it's exactly what you did. So the next step that you can take is colored pencils. So with colored pencils, it's the same idea, but you're just not using an ebony pencil. So you're going to pick whatever colors you want. Again, they're just normal colored pencils. You can sharpen them, you can do whatever you want with them. But once you have had a fair amount of ebony pencil use, you can start to make a pattern using the colored pencils. So if I wanted to, I could take this pink color, I could outline the edge. And notice that every time that I'm using my paper, I turn my paper so that it's easier for me to get to it. So I'm going to go dark, a little bit lighter, light as I can go. And then I'm going to turn my paper again, outline that edge, do a little tick mark, dark as I can go, a little bit lighter, until almost white. And you can always go back and edit things, cover it more. Alright, so if I wanted to make this into a pattern where maybe I did 3 ebony and then 1 pink and then 1 ebony and then 1 blue, totally acceptable. But add color, make it into a pattern. If you're doing it just all over the place, it's not going to look right. So what I mean by a pattern is if I did the 3 ebonies then here, and then made this next one a pink one. So again, I did those marks. Dark, a little bit lighter, all the way to white. You can turn your paper if you need to. Outlining that edge. Dark, a little bit lighter, all the way to white. Okay, and I do each one of these pink all the way around. If you want to, you can also do like a little X on each one of these, but make sure if you're doing an X, you're doing it in the darkest part on the edge of your thing. Notice there's a little X right here, so that when you're coloring it in, you'll color it over and you won't see it. If you do it in the middle, an X, you'll see it at the end. If you finished your entire thing early and you want to go back in and make a pattern of coloring these in, you're by far more than welcome. Make sure you eventually, when you're happy with your product, have written your name and your teacher's name on the back. Any other questions? Just ask.